Good afternoon, friends and traders. Welcome to Market Recap. I am Dan Hodgman. It is Thursday, October 8th. This week is slowly winding to a close. One more day ahead of us. I hope you guys have all had a fun and exciting day. There was some opportunity there, unless you're trading yen. Then there was nothing. But the yen has kind of been that way for a little while. Level 2 definitely was a tight range. It was an interesting day of trading. Stocks opened up higher. The trend looked like it really wanted to continue to go, but they got a little squirrely, a little sideways for most of the day, and then towards the end, we finally saw it pop out above that range. Crude moves higher. Gold kind of higher, kind of sideways. The euro started out low. We found a little bit of support, bounced off that, and like we said, the yen. There wasn't much, really tight. Maybe the yen's not even worth looking at here lately. It seems as though it has always, just every day has been tighter and tighter, and it kind of makes sense. And so typically when we see volatility spiking the way it has, right now VIX is still holding in that mid-20s range, you start to see currency slow down unless that dollar's swinging all over the place, and the dollar really hasn't been. Yes, the dollar has been moving a little bit here and there, but not taking wild swings or anything of that nature. So markets are moving, news happening, political drama, at the end of the day, nothing's coming out of it, nothing's really getting done. I think we had the debates last night. Post so far around everything is talking about a fly. Now, some interesting news. I think it's 6 men were, let me verify specifically on it. 6 men charged with conspiracy to kidnap the Michigan governor, and 7 others charged under terror law. Pretty wild. And then Pelosi, Trump, kind of a lot of back and forth there. I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that and I'm not giving in here unless you give it. Just get something done. Love to see it one way or the other. Anyhow, let's go ahead and take a look at these markets, see what we had happen here today, and find where some of the opportunity was, because there was some. Not perfect, but there was definitely some. I also want to say hello to everybody. Felix, always the first one in there. Good to see you. Tanya, level 2. Mr. Shines, Mystery Channel, level 2. Frustrating today. Tight range. Yeah, definitely. I'm glad to see you came out profitable. Subconscious, good afternoon. Daryl, good to see you there. All right, let's take a quick glance here at the market. As always, starting with crude oil, market opened up towards the highs, right at that 41 mark. Remember, we talk a lot of times about big fat round numbers. As soon as John kind of finished up talking, they broke. And man, did they break right off of 41, ran right down to a prior point of control. Again, we're not just looking at prior day, but looking at these levels and seeing how they come into play. Came right down to a little bit of a point of control, which happens to be a little point of consolidation in the overnight session. Again, we're looking at 30-minute charts. If we looked a little closer, we may see some more consolidation there. Market bounced right off of that 40.66 level. Took right back off to 41 and just a little bit through there. As soon as we kind of accepted above 41, this thing's kind of gotten sideways. But what I think's important to note here, relatively tight range. This market has been creating some directional moves. As we look back, we've seen some really big regular trading hour ranges, but ultimately we got to continue to focus on crude oil. Has been tight over the last couple of months. We want to make sure we are continuing to trade with tight ranges, asymmetric opportunities. Limit that risk. Find those points that stand out to us. This market broke above in the overnight session, right? And so our question is, where are some areas that this thing can fall back into? I'm telling you, John and I swear by value areas, points of control. They say a lot. So that's the first thing we're looking. I'm going to watch. I'm not going to execute right away when it comes down to this point of control down here by 66. I'm going to watch and see how the market reacts. If the market is showing, hey, I'm starting to see order flow coming in, I'm seeing more buyers and sellers, therefore I think we're going to see this level hold, then I might start to look for my entry point. Now, if its momentum continues, sellers are overpowering, lows just keep getting lower, then hey, that level is not going to work. Where's the next point to look? The next point I'm looking is closer to $40. So those are things and ways we want to be approaching this thing as these markets approach levels that catch our attention. Next, let's look at the S&P 500, which the trend in the overnight session really continued. And don't get me wrong, I was looking at opportunity here. Where do we get in on this day? Really, really tough, right? News continues to say jobless claims a little worse than expected. We're not making any progress on stimulus. It's hard to want to be long this thing, right? It's hard to want to hold those long. So if we're going to get long, we really got to find those asymmetric opportunities. We got to find the pullbacks. Tight range overall in the day session. I mean, we can sit here and almost count the ticks, right? It was a really tight range. And so we've got to be conscious about where we're getting in on these trends. So look for those breaks, look for those weak points, and take that trend. Otherwise, we're looking swing highs. We're looking at levels that catch our attention to take those smaller shorts because we are maintaining a strong trend to the upside over the last couple days ever since our break. And before that, we were maintaining strong trend to the upside. So this market is telling us it is still trending to the upside. Therefore, we're looking for a small weakness. Hop in the market if we're going to short it. Tight stops. Don't look for huge breaks. We're not looking for this big, huge 60-point break. We got to be a little bit more cautious on those breaks. What I also like is our little break here today came pretty darn close to our swing high from the other day. Pivotal areas, keeping an eye on those swing highs and swing lows really do come into play quite often. Next, let's look at the NASDAQ, which was a little bit more range-bound than the S&P 500. We are still staying relatively tight, same as the S&Ps. Market trended higher in the overnight, broke right off the open, came seeking out towards settlement price, did not get all the way down there, but pretty darn close. Market opened up last night right at settles. Settlement price was exactly $11,469.75. Market attempted to get down there, never made it. From here, what are we looking? Where's our opportunity within this range? Well, you could get in if you see paying attention to the last 2 days. Point of value area high happens to be 505. What do we talk about? We're always looking at the big fat round numbers, 11,500. Maybe this is our opportunity to say, hey, I'm going to get long here and run it a little bit higher. If that's not where you want to get in, then maybe we're looking to say, I don't think it's going to break above some consolidation. We had a kind of a double top here this morning. Can we break from there and run it back down towards that 500? Yeah, tons of different trades in here, but these are tough, especially when it gets tight like this. Next, let's go ahead and look at gold. So gold opened up higher. Right as John kind of finished speaking, the break really took off. We broke right into yesterday's value area. We came and checked yesterday's value area low, bounced off of that, broke right back outside. This market was all over the place today. Very tough trade. It's about the best I can say. This was a tough trade all around. So we want to start thinking about why are these things happening? If we open up our control areas, if we start to look over the last couple days, since this market has been trading in this range, what do we look for? Well, this is what I caught my eye this morning. We have, and I'm moving these volume profiles all the time. I'm bringing them when the market is kind of staying in a range. I'm starting to open it up to try and get a better framework of where the volume's at, where time has been. Notice how point of control right down here at 1889.9 or 1890, that happens to be our point of control. That's a very interesting level. To me, that's running a 2-star level for me. It's something that really caught my eye here today. How do we trade around it? Well, that's where things get interesting because we did move through it pretty strongly. But notice how it came right down to that that value area low. That's what's giving me ideas here. Okay, if we push below this, I'm going to look for opportunity down here. And if we can break above it, I'm looking for opportunity up on the upside here. All right, next, let's look at the currencies. We'll take a look at the euro. Yen, we'll glance at it and just show how tough it was. Euro, very similar framework to gold here today, except euro, euro was up a little bit on the day overall. Market broke right off the open, came and found consolidation, multiple points of consolidation. We're looking for time and we're looking for volume in these areas. We have multiple points of consolidation right where our low of the day is, 117.48. Market bounced off of there a couple times, fell back into a little bit of a range and trended higher. Now, this overnight session, we're going to start to have a hard time. I think if this thing tries to get higher, this is kind of a pivotal area. I'm going to bring it up to about 117.80. If we break above 117.80, we may start to fall into a new range and see a nice 20-point move. That's what I'll be keeping an eye on. Next, looking at the yen, like I said, if you're trading yen, I don't know what to tell you. It was hard. You were picking up 5 ticks if you were perfect. Your risk was 3 ticks. This was a tough trade today. That's what I'm going to say. There's not much to say about the yen. All right, everybody, those are our markets here today. I see some questions here and some comments, so we'll take a look at those. Level 2. I'm sorry to see you lost the pro account, but hey, after elections, opportunity is going to still be there. I think that's a good idea. Wait till after elections, and then maybe we can get back in it. Olaf, trend is your friend until it isn't. Well, that's the first thing we want to recognize. That's why we are trading asymmetrically. We're trading extremes. We're waiting for those weaknesses to get in on trend, keeping our stops really tight. If it changes directions, if it tells us it's range bound, if we can keep our stops really tight, that's totally okay. Then we can start to look for those next opportunities, fade the extremes, make those adjustments on the fly as we go. Trades with Matt, great YouTube channel. He's actually been on the podcast. So if you haven't checked out Limit Up, make sure you check it out. We sat down with Matt and did a fun little interview with him. Level 2, Dan, do you consider the extra drop after hours like that on Tuesday? Absolutely. I look at after hours trade. I like them. I think it's important to keep an eye on. I'm definitely always keeping an eye on things like that. I use overnight levels quite a bit. You guys see me talk about it, so I do like that type of stuff. Definitely paying attention to it. Awesome. Sweet, guys. So those are our markets here today. Weekend's coming to a close. Tomorrow's a Friday. What are some of the things we think about on Friday? Fridays are Capital Preservation Day. Remember that. If we're up money, don't take too much risk. If we're down money, don't take too much risk. No, if we're up money, our job is to preserve the capital we have. We worked really hard this week. We don't want to give it all back on a Friday and have to go into a weekend feeling like crap. And if we're down money, but we're still trading tomorrow, we're looking just to put ourselves in a little better position come Monday. We don't have to make the whole week back. Cannot have those expectations. So lots to consider tomorrow. Be cautious. Be patient. And if you don't see it, don't be afraid to start your weekend early. I know I tend to start my weekends as early as possible on Fridays. All right, guys. Just glancing over here as the consistent things we talked about. VIX, like I already kind of mentioned, VIX is floating mid-20s, 26.3 right now. Just because it's been fun. We're going to keep looking at Tesla. Tesla right now, down a little bit today, but still $426 a share. Huge numbers. Remember, it was split 5-for-1 month and a half ago or whatever it was. And we are still strong value. I look back 6-8 months ago and we said down by 300. Anything close to 500 is a sell. And it just kept going. That was before we split 5-for-1. All right, so we touched on news already. Tomorrow, only news coming out. Baker Hughes rig count. That's at noon Central Time. And then just keep an eye on the news tomorrow. There may be something happening. Who knows? We're a couple weeks away from election. Things are heating up. So gotta keep a pulse on that news. Like I said the other day, just watch the phone, look for notifications. Set some of those news channels on there to catch you if you're focused on something else. All right, and then lastly, this date in history, pretty busy day. We're going to start with the Chicago fire took place, the Great Chicago Fire. Especially as Chicago kids, we've all heard about the cow kicking the lantern over and starting the whole city on fire, 1871. That's the reason Chicago rebuilt and has alleys. Also on this date, Jerry Lee Lewis's Great Balls of Fire. He records that in Memphis, Tennessee. Goodness gracious, Great Balls of Fire. And that's what I got for us, guys. On that note, I'm going to sign on out of here. Remember, no recaps on Friday, so I'll see you back here on Monday. I hope you all have a spectacular weekend. I hope tomorrow's a great day. And I look forward to catching up with you guys later. And have a great day, everyone, as well. And enjoy your weekend. Take care, everybody. Trade well.